Coming up, we'll talk about Logan Schuchart's difficult 2024 season, or actually, maybe it's not as bad as we thought it was. Plus, where was Brent Marks last night? Race results from around the country, including Logan Seavey's dirt late model debut and more. Let's go. It's Wednesday, July 3rd. I'm Justin Fiedler. This is DIRTRACKR Daily, presented by Kubota Genuine Parts. Pennsylvania Speedweek, round number 4 last night at Grandview Speedway. I was a little surprised to see only 24 cars there after Lincoln had 36 the night before. I know that Grandview is a bit of a hike for those teams based more around Harrisburg, and it's another 2 hours back today to Port Royal, but I would have liked to have seen a few more. One car that was missing that we initially expected to see at Grandview was Brent Marks, and that was especially after he won the high-limit Grandview race back late in May. The chatter leading into PA Speedweek was that he would race starting at Grandview and run through Saturday at Port Royal. But the injury to crew guy Fudd and some recent crashes seem to have kept that team at home. I think there's a reasonable chance we don't see them at all for the rest of the week, especially with such a lucrative stretch coming up between High Limit and the World of Outlaws' big month of money races, which includes 4 days at Eldora, where Marks has been very good in the past. It's been a brutal last month or so for Marks and that 19 team. That had 8 straight finishes of 8th or better between Utica, Rome, and I-70, which included that Grandview win. But since Eagle on June 11th, Marks has raced 7 times and finished 15th or worse in 6 of those starts. The only bright spot was a second-place run at Port Royal for the Jim Klein tribute. You can see why that team will likely use this off week from High Limit to reset instead of running the rest of Speed Week. Last night's feature turned into a really fun battle between front row starters Logan Schuchart and Anthony Macri. Both led laps. They battled through lap traffic for a lot of that main event, kind of trading that top spot back and forth. Schuchart, though, eventually made the right move at the right time, and he came out on top for the $10,000 score. Macri was second, and Devin Borden was on the podium for the second straight night. Headed to Port Royal tonight, Danny Dietrich maintains a 75-point lead in the Speedweek Championship. He finished 4th last night. So far, Dietrich has 2 wins and 4 top 7 results through these first 4 races. Back to Logan Schuchart. That team definitely is starting to look better after what has been an uncharacteristic first half of the sprint car season. 6th in the World of Outlaws points, and he just picked up his first Outlaw win this past weekend at Cedar Lake. So 2 wins in his past 3 starts, plus a 4th at Lincoln. Huset's was a struggle the week before, but he was also fast at Knoxville, leading laps there before ending up crashed. I was actually going to hypothesize today that maybe Logan has struggled more this season, not having that second shark car out on the road with them. But the numbers actually tell quite a bit of a different story. The perception right now, I think, is that Logan has been worse, but his average Outlaw feature finish is the best it's been since 2021. He's not starting features as well as he did last year, but he's actually qualifying a touch better, and he's more than a position higher on average at the end of races. An average feature finish is 7.7 versus 8.8 last year. He's not winning or finishing top 5 as often, but he's in the top 10 more often. So there are definitely some conflicting things here. I had thought maybe not having that second shark car in Jacob Allen or, Tanner Holmes it was last year to bounce ideas off of and share information with might be affecting this team. But the stats actually don't really show that. Schuchart, though, definitely on the rise at the moment and building some momentum. Quick side note, Logan did tweet today that he won't be at Port Royal tonight or Saturday, but will be at Hagerstown on Thursday. After being on SprintCarUnlimited.tv last night, PA Speedweek streaming shifts back to Flow Racing tonight. Tune in there if you are not headed for the Speed Palace. At Gondik Lost Speedway last night, Nick Hoffman grabbed his second super late model win in 4 starts with the XR Super Series. He won last Saturday at Norman County with the Outlaws and led the final 11 laps last night for win number 7 on the year. Ryan Gustin actually led a bunch of that feature, but he ended up DNFing after a hard hit to the wall just as Hoffman was taking the lead from him. I'm not sure what went wrong there for Gustin because his car just took off into turn 1 as he was nose to tail with Hoffman. I don't know if maybe losing the air off the nose there is what caused it, but Gustin had a very hard hit. Gustin continues to show speed right now with that Todd Cooney-owned car with that Wells Infinity chassis. They just quite haven't had the results to show for it. Bobby Pierce, Devin Moran were the rest of last night's podium. Moran extended his championship lead, headed for Ogilvie tonight. Tonight's race, $50,000 to win, should again draw a nice field of late models. Tonight's racing will then lead into a 3-day weekend for the World of Outlaws at nearby Deer Creek Speedway, where Saturday will also pay $50,000 to win. While a lot of the sprint car teams are off for the 4th of July, the late model guys, they just keep on racing. If you want some other late model action tonight, Cherokee Speedway has a 10,000 to win show as well. That one's going to draw a lot of the big Southeast guys. That includes Dalton Wilson, Chris Ferguson, Ross Bales, Zach Mitchell, and a lot more. This one will be streamed on Hunt the Front TV. Summer Nationals Week 4 got going last night at Old Number 1 Speedway, and we will have a third different week-long champion guaranteed. We told you yesterday that Tyler Erb is staying north with XR, and no Jason Fager in attendance last night. Looks like Fager will race a few times this week, just not all of them. The feature last night was dominated by Tanner English, who picked up his first late model victory since a late season score at Duck River in 2023. English has had a bit of a tumultuous year. He's raced for several different owners here before settling recently with Coltman Farms Racing. English now has 8 straight top 5s in Hell Tour action. I think he's got to be the early favorite here for this week's title, especially if he can keep up this consistency. Rodney Melvin and Ethan Dotson completed last night's top 3. I was super bummed for Logan Seavey. He finally got to make his super late model debut last night. Started 6th, was in the mix late for that lead battle running in 3rd when he spun to avoid an incident in front of him. He then DNF'd after breaking something in that spin. I think I saw a steering rack. He looked great, though, and I don't think a win is off the table this season. I think if he gets in the right situation, maybe some more Summer National starts wherever he runs, he could run up front and win one of these shows. I don't know what his plans are for today, as Seavey would have been heading to Red Hill in Illinois to run the USAC Sprint Car Show, but that race just got postponed. Maybe he would consider racing another night in that Chris Bragg-owned car, but we'll just have to wait and see. Summer Nationals continues tonight at Benton Speedway. And with USAC rained out, they will try again at Friday and Saturday at Lincoln Park. Today's race at Red Hill was rescheduled for August 15th. And no, I haven't heard anything more about any changes or disqualifications stemming from this past weekend's bolt-on weight situation at Macon Speedway. Another sprint car action last night. Mark Dobmeyer and Nick Omdahl were NOSA winners at River Cities. I feel like we haven't talked about NOSA at all this season. River Cities actually had a pair of 410 features last night. One of them was a main show, and then the other one was a makeup race. Jade Hastings entered the night as the NOSA championship leader. After a 2nd and a 3rd, he should continue in that top spot. The NOSA sprint cars race again at River Cities on July 12th. Elsewhere tonight, the Short Track Super Series Modifieds are at Fonda Speedway for 10,000 win. This is race 4 for the North region and round 9 for the full season championship. Matt Williamson has a slight 5-point lead over Stuart Friesen for that North title, and Williamson leads Anthony Perego in the overall fight. Tonight starts a very busy month for the Short Track Super Series. They've got 6 races coming up through the end of the month. All the big names should be in attendance tonight. Around the other dirt racing podcasts this week, Wing Nation has Logan Schuchart and Dale Blaney. Passing Points has Jordan Mallett. QuickTime has Cody Ledger. Dirt Tracks and Ribracks has Melissa Perkins. Hoagie's Garage has Dazen Persley and Chase Rodman. Do Much on Dirt has Paul Clayton. Caution Free has Joe Baggett. And there are new episodes of The Dirt Reporters, Dirt Track Confessions, The Dirt Nerds, Racing Roundup, Getting Up to Speed, and The Drivers Project. To see all of these dirt racing shows and their recent episodes, visit DIRTRACKR.com/podcasts. That's it for this episode of The Daily. Besides the races I've talked about today, there's actually a lot of other dirt racing action happening around the country during this holiday week. So make sure to hit up DIRTRACKR.com/watch tonight if you are looking for streaming options. Hope you guys have a great Wednesday out there. We'll see you right back here tomorrow.